20 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. It is African History Month, and we have the Emancipation Support Committee inside your spotlight on Now.
Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. So back on the show this morning, we're going to be talking about the Emancipation Support Committee's event, the spoken word competition for primary schools and the National African History Quiz for secondary schools. Joining us in studio is no stranger, Zakiya Uzoma-Wadada, the Executive Chair of the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago, and Kadija Dyer, Youth Educational and Development Officer. Good morning to both of you and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Natasha. It's a pleasure always to be here with you all here at TTT.
It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to this conversation because, of course, you know, we were speaking about it. It would have been a few weeks ago.
That's right.
And how critical this is to the development of our youth, our education system, and so much more.
Yes.
So we're ready for those updates. But before we get into those updates, tell me, what has the reception been like thus far?
Oh, it has been amazing. And this year we had 22 schools register for the African History Quiz, and I think in that group had about 5 new schools that were there for the first time. We normally start the spoken word competition in March, where we have a large number of children. So we had 41 students from about 12 schools participate in the competition, and from that we have 25 that came on to the preliminary round.
This is primary schools?
Primary schools, yeah, because remember the secondary schools, so the primary schools is just an individual performing one of the calypsos, you know, reciting one of the calypsos, and as I said last time, we dedicated the calypsos this year to the steel pan, because in recognition of the declaration by the UN. And for the African History Quiz, you have schools, their teams, you see, and each of the schools has a team of 5. And we also have introduced a lifeline component so that during their team questions, they have an opportunity to call somebody to help them with their answers. So that creates a lot of fun and makes the show really interesting. So on Sunday, on TTT, you will see the quarterfinals of the competition.
Yes.
You know, Kadija can tell you which schools to expect for the quarterfinals.
I'm looking forward to this. So happening on Sunday from 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. right here on TTT.
Would be the spoken word. And then from 4 to 5 to 6:30 would be the African History Quiz. Yes.
So we have an entire day of Emancipation Support Committee and competitions going on. So let's talk a little bit more about the spoken word, Kadija. What schools are involved? And perhaps even before we get to that, how challenging do you think it was to even round up everybody for the quarterfinals?
That task was left up to the judges because the children really came out this year. Their performances are superb compared to the other groups we had in previous years. This set of children, they came out fighting from the very beginning. So at the preliminary round, we had 25, and we normally take 12 to the quarterfinal rounds. However, we took 16 because the judges had a really hard time, you know, figuring out who to go forward, who not to go forward.
Right.
So some of these schools, Baltaria Anglican, Las Dumas RC, Riversdale, Malabar RC, Arima Centenary, Fable Village Government.
Baltaria Anglican.
But Success RC Government. So we had a nice cross range of schools throughout the country. With respect to the African History Quiz, we had 22 schools, which normally our max with Republic Bank is 20. But because so many schools, you know, the competition is growing, and it's really nice to see the children wanted to be so involved in history. Because normally when you talk in history, as a teenager, it's that boring. But the way how we bring across the competition is really fun to them, you know. We had actually 7 new schools, and Tobago came back. So we had Speyside High representing Tobago, and the weekend they came was the Carnival in Tobago.
Right.
And the teacher said, Miss, jump high, jump low, we come in. If we have to set up on a plane, we come in. We have to come and represent Tobago. So that's really good that, they were willing to go through, not sure about their tickets to come across for the competition. We had St. Mary's College, Naprima girls, of course, and everyone has got in for Naprima because right now Naprima is the 2-time champions. We have St. Francois girls, even though they won the competition 3 times and create that hat trick.
Yeah.
We have Vassini for the first time competing, Malabar North, Malabar South, St. Stephen's College, Waterloo High, Barrackport East. Again, a nice cross range of the Trinidad and Tobago.
Definitely, and it sounds like it really could be a challenge for the judges. I mean, aside from the fact you have more schools taking part, you now have so much talent coming out. We just saw on the screen some of the children for the spoken word competition in particular, fully decked out, ready to go. As you said, they came out fighting.
And so, Natasha, somehow this theme of the pan resonated so well with the children. And if you have a chance, you all must look at it and see how connected our children are to this national instrument. Because over the years, we've done different themes, but this particular theme this year about the pan, so they did calypsos like Kitchener's Winston Spree, Pan in Danger, Pan Maker by Stalin. And is to see these children express this. It is absolutely amazing. They really took to the theme, that pan, they were able to connect with it. I mean, when they tell you about pan in danger, I mean, you can see them, reflecting the full emotions. It's absolutely an amazing performances by our children, the little ones. And they're little ones, some of them are 8 years, 9 years, but they understand and grasp the theme. For the secondary schools, it's a little more challenging because, I mean, they have to learn stuff and then answer questions. But as you know, they play a tic-tac-toe game, so it's fun. So while they're answering, they're also trying to get tic-tac-toe, and so it's a beautiful experience, and the knowledge that can be gained from watching the shows. So we really hope that the national public tune in, because you have information there. For example, in the booklet, because again, in recognition of Pan, we have highlighted all the pan tuners, quite a number of them, 6 of them: Anthony Williams, Bertie Marshall, Winston Spree Simon, Neville Jules. So the children get to learn about the development of the pan. So, and we have called them scientists because they are scientists, So we have all our African scientists, and it's really, really very interesting. And then we did them. We told them we did a piece on Ghana, just to connect with the fact that we had the Asante visiting, so that they could get to make the connections between Ghana. And one of the key things that they learned about Ghana is that the birth of Ghana, which is a calypso that was done by Lord Kitchener in tribute to Ghana's independence. Actually, that it was sung on Emancipation Day here in the presence of the Asante, and that's a big, big song in Ghana, and a lot of us don't know that, and that is since 1957. So it is really very good for us to connect with our history, because it helps us to know who we are. The children appreciate it, the teachers appreciate it, and as Kadija says, it's a fun way of learning, and we really hope that the national audience listen in and challenge themselves, see how much they know.
Now, this is the thing. So, Ms. Zakiya, I want to take you back to, as we were talking about, education particularly. Now, this booklet here, Trinidad and Tobago, this is the National African History Quiz 2023 booklet that you can see. And I would love to know, this is general knowledge, renowned Africans in science and technology, and historical events. How long does something like this take to compile, and who is involved in the compilation of this booklet?
The people who you see sitting in front of you. Yes. We do the research, we compile the booklets, we print them, we bind them, everything happens at our office. We get support from members of our board who would submit pieces as well. And yes, it is a joint effort of the organization, so it is, and it takes a lot. It is quite challenging, as you would see, but based on the content, and we've been doing this for many years. you know, but and this happens right after emancipation. So, you know, emancipation is on August 1st, and then we have to get them ready for September.
Exactly.
So
Pace, as we say, non-stop pace with everything else going on top of that, of course.
Yes, but it is a joint effort of the organization, and we are really pleased and proud, and of course we thank Republic Bank for its support through this Power to Make a Difference program. And I always like to identify TTT as a strong partner in this, because when we first started, we used to do it right in the studio, you know. Yes, I know people don't remember that. We used to do the quiz in the studio. Yes, and then there were too many children and it became a little uncomfortable. So that's how we went to the bank. But all our first programs was done right here. So
and how does it feel to be back here now, seeing how much this has grown?
Yes, absolutely wonderful. I mean, TTT is our partner and continues to be our partner. We can't do it without them.
And the team is really awesome as well.
Yeah.
You know, they just come and set up cameras and wait for us. They're hands-on. They help us with the set, you know, and it's also a learning experience for them, because you hear them saying, wow, I did not know that.
To see what they know.
Yes. So they are all involved.
Talking about that, let's say a special good morning to Lubelle Batiste. Lou, as we call her as well.
Yes, Lubelle.
Producer extraordinaire.
Yes.
You know, Stacey, the whole team.
That's beautiful, because we are a family at the end of the day.
Definitely,
and I think that's the beauty of what you're doing as well, Ms. Zakiya. You're building a family for those who don't know and are able to source that connection within themselves. Now, of course, TTT, we are partnering with you, but I know you have some other sponsors as well who are involved. So who are your main stakeholders?
Republic Bank, through the Power to Make a Difference program. And we also have Helix, who's dressing our
hostess. Abio Jackson. You know, Abio is our host. Yes. So Helix dresses her. Helix is one of the designers from Ghana. Yes, who participates, Josephine, who participates in the village every year. So she now has a store here in Trinidad, and she supports us all the time. Yes. So.
Wonderful. So you spoke about the quiz from inception here at TTT, now migrated to the bank. Where do you see this taking place in the next decade? And how big is this going to be? Because, I mean, it's growing.
I would like to see it become a regional competition. That is going to be quite challenging. But we are the secretariat for what we call the Caribbean Pan-African Network. And we are hoping perhaps through that, and I know Republic Bank does have branches in the region. It's something we have spoken about before, but it's where we would like to see. We would like to see this become a regional competition, and we would also like to make some connections with the continent so that the children can perhaps have as part of their prizes, you know, a visit to the continent and maybe have some, you know, a reciprocal visit from persons on the continent. Those kinds of connections is what I would like to see this go in the future.
I definitely think that's something we will see come to fruition over at least the next decade or so. Because we have the investment, we have the partnerships, and we have the drive. I mean, if we're seeing these young ones from now in primary school raring to go, ready to battle, one can only imagine what's going to happen as they get older as well. Let's talk really, really quickly, because I know there's a prize involved and everybody's gunning for that prize. So what is the prize for the spoken word competition for primary schools, and what about the African history quiz?
So for the spoken word children, of course, is the Pearl N2 Springer Challenge Trophy, and this trophy is beautiful. You know, the material is made out of is one of its kind. Right? It's not available anymore. So, you know, the trophy is really beautiful. We have cash prizes as well as physical prizes like tablets, laptops.
Phones, money. The bank puts money.
So part of the bank, they start finance management early with the children. So they have to open right start accounts.
Very good.
The cash that they get.
So they get half of the cash in hand, and they must open an account. If they do have an account, and then half goes into that account.
That's wonderful.
And the schools get, each of the schools now, the Pearl and Springer Trophy and the Olabisi Koboni Trophy, they are challenge trophies. So it is just trophies that they have to return. But each school also get their own trophy. They get I think you might be seeing a picture of the trophy here. The big one. Yes.
The Carla Wilson Trophy of Excellence and the Tracy Wilson Trophy of Excellence as well. Both
and they get big 50-inch television screens for the school.
No, lots of things. I mean, the
Yes.
encouragement is there, but the best part, of
Yes.
course, is that the young ones are going to have fun and they're going to learn a lot. Miss Zakiya and Kadija, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing this continue to grow. And Trinidad and Tobago, you need to look forward to it as well. As happening on Sunday, the 19th of November. We're starting off with spoken word competition for primary schools from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then in the evening, secondary schools with a National African History Quiz from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And staying right here right now is the Now Morning Show. There's more coming up in a few. Don't go anywhere.
Successfully get your independence official. Ghana is the name. We wish to proclaim we will be jolly, merry and gay the 6th of March.